Hi, my name is Dale. I am the voice actor for Thomas, Ryan, and a bunch of the other engines, and I am also the creator of the Eastern Island Railways Adventures. It has been a passion project for mine to create a Thomas and Friends fan series for years. It's always been something I wanted to do, and I am so happy that I finally got to get this out there. I wanted to do a small talk back discussing some of the big topics that I've come up with and also the topics that you guys have come up with. I want to show that I'm going to be interactive with you guys, and I want to hear your guys' feedback. But let's get into it. So, the first thing I would like to talk about is the new engines that I've been bringing in throughout the course of the series. Now, some of them have gotten really in depth character arcs, such as Paul, and then there's been the ones that I've completely forgotten about, like Eric or Clive, which we'll get into Clive a little bit later. But Paul, the reason why we had a lot of focus on him is because we wanted him to become the head figure for the dockyard. Eric, we didn't really have much planned for him, but like Splatter and Dodge, we have a lot planned coming up for them. A lot of these characters are going to get explored more in Act 2, but the main focus was trying to flesh out Paul and dive deep into his character arc and his backstory. But I promise that it will get a lot better for explaining everyone else's stories lines as well. Who is Marty? Well, Marty was supposed to be this cult driven engine who was brought to the brink of insanity. But me and my friends completely forgot to add in all the extra lore and stuff. And I feel like we probably should have done that, but a little too late for that. We do plan on releasing a couple of the shorts that we had made, and it does actually involve Marty and how he got the name The Watcher. So do keep an eye out for those. What happened to Sodor? This has been a topic that I know I've been wanting to discuss for a hot minute, but I've had no real way of bringing it up in the series. Sodor was shut down due to its safety record in this reality, and a lot of its engines and properties were sold off, and it's been pretty much turned into like this massive like detriment to British Rail and all that fun jazz. But a lot of the Sodor engines are going to be either seen or at least referenced in this series in some way or another. I will say there is no intention of ever bringing Gordon or Henry to the island, though. They just wouldn't really fit in well with the storyline that I've been working with, at least at this point. That could change in the future, but some of the bigger engines, I will be honest, are probably never going to be seen on the railway or the island. Speaking of islands, I should probably go over the origins of the Eastern Island Railway. I know in a previous story, I set up the fact that my grandfather in the series built the railway. And he had Clive, the box tank, who helped run it. That is still completely canon. We're actually going to be exploring more into Clive and the beginnings of the railway and what all happened in those early years. What all happened, what all they experienced. And there's going to be other familiar faces returning from the start of the railway. Clive is not the only surviving first member of the railway. That's a bit of a teaser for Arc 2, but we'll get into that. Who is the main character? That has been a question that I know some people have asked. Some people don't really care. Originally, this was going to be an ensemble cast, but I hate to say it, there is a very clear favorite, and I'm not sure if you guys have realized who it is yet, but it's 100% Ryan. Ryan has been my favorite Thomas and Friends character for years, ever since his debut in Legends of the Lost Treasure. He has been my favorite character ever since. I don't know what draws me to him, but he just is so cool. And I love his design. I love the purple color. He just fits. And I wanted to make him the main character for a long time. Even whenever I experimented doing a Wooden Railway series, he was always meant to be the main character. But he has already got some of his character art. He's about to have another one that I started setting up already, but it's going to become a really big player in Act 2. And enough of stalling. It's about time I finally get into that. What is the second arc? So, in the first arc, I tried to focus more on world building, setting up everything I wanted to set up, and showing off some of the bigger, more prominent locations of the railway. I will say I am still learning how to properly structure stories, but a lot of them are going to be done a lot better. And the second arc is going to mostly focus on the industry side of things. I tried doing world building for Arc 1. Arc 2 is going to be, as I said, industry, what happens when Draven is in jail, what all unfolded during that situation. I want that to be a big plot point that stands out. And it's going to be pretty intense, I won't lie. There's going to be a lot more scenes of engines actually talking. There's going to be a lot more action all around the entire railway. And honestly, I feel like this next part of 20 episodes is going to be a really interesting concept to see how it unfolds. And I will say it will get pretty heated at some points. I will say one character will be meeting its end somewhere in this next part. I'm not going to say which character it is. I'm not going to hint at what character it is. But it is very much going to be revolutionary for it. What is happening in the storyline? Well, in the storyline currently, all the episodes are supposed to link back to one another in some ways than others. For example, nameplates and repaints is very much supposed to tie into the episode right before that, Picture Perfect. That is whenever the photographer comes in, takes the photo of Thomas, the branch line engines get into this big argument with him, and the whole situation gets resolved in that episode. We wanted to show the fact that Thomas is adjusting. And that's how it's all supposed to be, is these engines are supposed to be adjusting to this whole new life on this brand new railway. All of them are struggling in their own ways to get used to it. But we wanted to show Thomas having a rough time of it, and we wanted to show Ryan specifically having a really good time adjusting to the different parts of the railway. He has been the one that's been there since day one. He is the premier engine that is supposed to be shown off everywhere. And we haven't really got a chance to explain that thus far. But in current timeline wise, Draven has been arrested for supposedly the murder of the Duke of Dessel, the arson of the workshop, and a bunch of other crimes that are going to be listed off in the next episode. I don't want to get into it too much here. Eventually, Draven will return to the railway. That's what we've always planned for them. And stuff will go down. A lot of it is going to do very heavily with the scrapyard being shut down and a quarry being built where it once stood. And the storyline is going to get very, very deep here soon. And we want to start getting all the storyline straight. So, for the complete rundown, I am going to be doing a whole separate video here eventually about how the whole storyline connects from episode to episode and get into the real nitty gritty of all of it. And I've been thinking about doing a full timeline as well of the railway and what happened during certain time periods and all that fun jazz. But the main takeaways that you'll need to know going forward is Draven's in jail. The railway has officially started to recuperate from its losses of Paul, Draven, the works, and a bunch of other things. And eventually, it's all going to get back to normal. Even better than normal, in all honesty. With the new engines that are going to be arriving and the new experience that is being brought to the railway through people that you'll get to meet, it's going to be entertaining. And me as a storyteller, I want to make this really engaging and fun for everyone. And I want you all to know I appreciate you guys at least taking the time and checking all this out. I cannot thank you all enough for all the support you guys have done for me. And I am so happy to even reach 700 subscribers at this point. I'm sure the number is probably going to go up, but I appreciate it. And I cannot wait for you guys to see what the Eastern Island Railway has to offer for the rest of you guys. Thank you, and goodbye.